On camera, she laughed while she badgered her staff. And so all good things must end. And also the Ellen DeGeneres show. Yes, the 83-year-old entertainer just announced that the upcoming 19th season of her show will be its last. Apparently, she created a workplace more toxic than an Amazon warehouse in Chernobyl. Countless allegations surfaced last summer that the show's work environment was rife with harassment and discrimination. Following those charges, Ellen's ratings dropped faster than Kevin Spacey's pants at a boy band pool party.
Ellen DeGeneres built her empire on the mantra of compassion, but Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld wielded their respective platforms like demolition crews against a dilapidated facade. It's less about a clearance week and more akin to watching ancient Roman legions systematically dismantling a previously unassailable fortress. Forget the daytime talk show fluff. This unraveling is akin to a Shakespearean tragedy unfolding with the added sting of modern-day social media condemnation. The central question is, what fundamental flaws in the system allowed this perception of benevolence to persist for so long? Why did the inner circle of Hollywood, normally so quick to amplify narratives, suddenly resemble a flock of startled birds taking flight? And how did a sardonic commentator and a staunch media critic become the unlikely duo to orchestrate this exposure? Prepare yourself, because the labyrinth ahead is constructed from carefully manufactured illusions and concealed truths far more intricate than any fabricated television set. It reveals the price of unchecked power and the fragility of carefully constructed reputations.
Nasty person. And all these staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said, you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls of that show. If you saw her, this is not a nice person. So she eventually got canceled, but now she's coming back. She's got
The reaction mirrors the collective gasp one hears as a seemingly impenetrable dam finally ruptures. Once upon a time, nestled amidst the opulent estates and carefully manicured narratives of the entertainment industry, there reigned a figure celebrated for their disarming charm and approachable demeanor. This individual dispensed generosity with the flourish of a Renaissance patron, showering accolades and bestowing gifts with an almost theatrical benevolence, a veritable Medici of merriment. This was Ellen DeGeneres, ostensibly a beacon of goodwill, a veritable Mother Teresa with a penchant for synchronized dance numbers. However, this carefully constructed narrative functioned merely as a convenient smokescreen, obscuring the deeper truths simmering beneath the surface. It was a facade. The underlying narrative arc felt more akin to a somber soliloquy delivered on a rain-soaked stage, a maudlin attempt to garner sympathy masking the core issues at play. It resembled less of an artistic expression and more of a strategically manufactured display of self-pity.
How she was lamenting how her reputation has suffered. She's essentially as popular as a pit bull with monkeypox. But she's putting this on Trump. Do you think
the disparity between the public image and the behind-the-scenes reality became starker than a chiaroscuro painting? To illustrate, if a certain beloved purveyor of fantastical confections operated their enterprise with the same management style attributed to Ellen's show, the workforce would resemble a highly organized collective of disgruntled artisans, demanding fair treatment and equitable working conditions long before any milestone anniversary. For an extended period, Ellen meticulously cultivated an image of unblemished virtue, an aura of pristine purity, seemingly impervious to the corrosive effects of fame and fortune, akin to sunshine bottled and sold with a label promising perpetual joy. Yet, as it turned out, this meticulously constructed empire of perceived kindness was riddled with profound structural vulnerabilities. These flaws were embodied by individuals forced to endure stressful work environments, haunted by negative interactions, and desperately avoiding direct engagement.
I have a question for you on this. This is perfect for you. Because I'm seeing this week that there is an attempted comeback by somebody who did not cross one of those fateful lines of the misstepping on their sacred cows of gender or race or sexuality.
Yeah.
But she was said to be a nasty biatch, and that's Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
So her show got canceled after she had this testy exchange with Dakota Johnson, where something happened where Dakota said, oh, I had this birthday party. And Ellen said, well, why didn't you invite me? You didn't invite me. And she said, like, no, I did invite you, Ellen. That's not what happened. And Ellen had blown her off. And then tried to play the victim on the set with her. Anyway, it led to article after article of people being like, Ellen's a bitch.
A narrative shift occurs as Megyn Kelly enters the arena. If Ellen represented the embodiment of manufactured positivity, Megyn emerges as a hardened investigator, clad in metaphorical armor, determined to expose the underlying hypocrisies pervading the media landscape. She didn't subtly probe the narrative. Instead, she forcibly dismantled it, exposing the noxious residue concealed beneath the surface of meticulously curated appearances. Megyn presented irrefutable evidence, or at the very least, a compelling argument amplified through her platform, backed by first-hand testimony and an unwavering commitment to journalistic integrity. While many dismissed the initial allegations as fleeting controversies, Megyn resolutely confronted the core issues head-on, shining a piercing light into the darkest corners of the scandal.
Story. So Ellen and her wife, Portia, have left their millionaire haven of Montecito for England. Now, they're saying they'll never come back in the wake of Trump's win. Do you think that's the reason why she's leaving?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, Ellen got canceled for real a few years ago from just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like a single comment she said or something she did, just lots of people saying that working for her was a living nightmare and that she's a jerk.
The crux of the matter, as she articulated with unwavering clarity, extended far beyond individual grievances and potential instances of mistreatment. The true transgression lay in the disconcerting silence that permeated the media landscape, a collective unwillingness to acknowledge, let alone address, the mounting evidence of systemic issues. Megyn, functioning as a surgical observer of ingrained hypocrisy, posed a fundamental question that sent ripples of discomfort throughout the industry. Would a female figure of conservative leaning be afforded even a fraction of the latitude extended to Ellen in the face of comparable accusations? She didn't limit her inquiry to a single case. Megyn broadened her scope, examining the pervasive culture of protectionism that permeated Hollywood, where the right political affiliations often served as an impermeable shield against accountability. In Megyn's estimation, Ellen's decline wasn't merely a personal tragedy. It represented a long overdue reckoning with the pervasive double standards that underpinned the industry. The facade of benevolence had crumbled, revealing the stark reality of misconduct concealed behind studio doors. Ellen's image wasn't being challenged. It was undergoing forensic examination, with Megyn acting as a meticulous forensic accountant. Next enters Greg Gutfeld, resembling a subversive academic delivering lectures on satire from an undisclosed location.
People on Earth to be feeling sorry for herself, Ellen DeGeneres should not be on the list.
She should at least, but make a real apology and do it.
There's no apology. It's just woe is me. I was run out.
While Megyn wielded the precision of a surgeon, Gutfeld opted for the blunt force of a demolition crew, driven not by malice, but by a deep-seated aversion to the pervasive absurdities of the entertainment world. He surveyed the unfolding situation with the detached amusement of an individual thoroughly versed in the art of deconstructing manufactured narratives. He scrutinized the notion of "be kind" and how it seemingly justified the creation of a workplace environment resembling a hybrid of oppressive training and a wellness retreat overseen by a malevolent entity. If kindness was a charade, Ellen's production seemed to be constructed from layers upon layers of artificial pleasantries, a veritable confection of falsehoods masking the truth. Gutfeld didn't merely make subtle digs, he launched a full-scale satirical offensive. He envisioned a dystopian version of The Ellen Show, where guests wore protective gear, communication occurred through cryptic notes, and dance numbers were supplanted by obligatory human resources meetings. The image he conveyed wasn't of a benevolent celebrity betrayed by circumstance, but of an individual who had erected a fortress of artificial congeniality around a volatile, demanding core.
Ellen told the Today Show, home of Matt Lauer, that the bad press actually had nothing to do with her decision. Right, and the Titanic didn't hit an iceberg, it chose to sink.
If it was why I was quitting, I would have not come back this year. I really did think about not coming back because it did, it was devastating. I am a kind person. I am a person who likes to make people happy.
No, the real reason, she says, is it was just too easy. Telling the Hollywood Reporter, quote, when you're a creative person, you constantly need to be challenged. And as great as this show is, and as fun as it is, it's just not a challenge anymore. Well, if that's true, here's an idea. When your viewership is down to 43%, why not consider that the challenge?
The potency of this dual assault stemmed not only from the high-profile nature of the target, but also from the contrasting methodologies employed. Megyn dissected the narrative with the precision of a seasoned journalist, meticulously exposing the media's complicity in perpetuating a carefully crafted illusion. Gutfeld, conversely, wielded the weapon of humor with unrestrained abandon, while Megyn meticulously documented instances of hypocrisy, highlighting how identity served as a shield against accountability and how certain celebrities enjoyed preferential treatment. Gutfeld pondered the absence of a comedic television program satirizing the backstage turmoil of The Ellen Show, likely rejected by premium networks for being too brutally honest. Meanwhile, the celebrity community, once vociferous in their support of Ellen, collectively retreated into a state of strategic silence. Some offered lukewarm expressions of solidarity, seemingly preoccupied with the potential repercussions of violating non-disclosure agreements. Others vanished entirely, leaving Ellen with fewer allies than a television show in its third attempt at rebooting. Throughout this turmoil, Megyn continued her relentless pursuit of truth, scrutinizing the outpouring of carefully worded apologies and highlighting the pervasive influence of public relations spin. While many saw genuine remorse, Megyn recognized the carefully calibrated messaging crafted through focus groups and refined with calculated precision.
I'm gonna let her back in, Rob, because she's a lesbian, she's a leftist, and she didn't hit one of their sacred cows. Nastiness, that's their bread and butter.
Well, I think everyone, I will say, like, the resentment, I think everyone should have a chance for reconciliation. I don't think Jesus exempted anybody. And so I do, while it does, because I have been allowed back in, but I don't hold any grievance and resentment. It's very important. And I would just say for Ellen, the resentment, you have to know, you have to get over resentment to whatever addiction or addictive qualities happen. To get over it, you have to deal with resentment and address it. And then otherwise you're going to fall back into the same pattern.
The fundamental question shifted to why society readily overlooked transgressions committed by those who evoke positive emotions. The genuine deception at play was Ellen's capacity to convince the masses that associating with celebrities was a shortcut to enlightenment. In stark contrast, anecdotal reports surfaced detailing meetings among her staff on strategies to avoid eye contact while maintaining employment. Gutfeld, unwilling to be outdone in the arena of satirical commentary, reimagined Ellen's fall from grace as a case study in societal decay. He drew comparisons between her farewell season and a message delivered by a captive reading from a prepared text against a set backdrop. He likened observing her final shows to attending a deserted farewell party where attendance was mandatory. However, attributing their actions solely to amusement would be disingenuous. Their combined critique resonated because it illuminated a deeper flaw, highlighting the degree to which society permits individuals to evade responsibility as long as they align with current trends and evoke laughter on demand. Ellen wasn't an isolated exception. She represented the norm, amplified by enhanced visibility and preferential treatment. Megyn's concluding argument was unambiguous. The objective wasn't to condemn Ellen, but to dismantle the notion that accountability in the media was optional, determined by popularity and influential connections. Her anger wasn't directed at Ellen's existence, but at the systemic disparities that shielded her from repercussions, while others bore the brunt of unfair treatment.
Oh, she was like, well, that's my time. Later, Marks, I'm out.
Yeah.
And then just leave them behind to go.
Yeah, they don't have the choice. They must stay in the hell of Trump. We're out of here. By the way, Walter.
I think we could let the illegal aliens stay if we get enough of Hollywood to self-deport.
Yes. I will take 1,000.
You know? Exactly.
I'll take 1,000 Venezuelan migrants for one.
The entertainment world is a fabricated environment where indiscretions are excused with a carefully curated hashtag. Ellen, despite her charismatic persona, was merely a figure who neglected basic safety protocols. Megyn and Greg rarely share similar sentiments. This unusual consensus underscores the magnitude of the situation. The world of celebrity benevolence successfully bridged their differences. Megyn brings legal preparation, she scrutinizes ethics, she investigates those who turned a blind eye, and she asks how intern mistreatment became acceptable in exchange for publicity. She focuses on corporate misconduct, not on condemnation.
If Trump is truly responsible for Ellen's exodus, shouldn't that go down as his greatest achievement in the last 8? I mean, he should get the Nobel Prize.
He's literally going to have a who's who of left. I mean, the entire 80s music catalog is gone. You got Springsteen, Cher, Madonna. I just don't know why they keep showing pictures of Aaron Rodgers with blonde hair.
Gutfeld's approach is as a provocateur. While Megyn provides an indictment, Greg critiques it for amusement. Greg emphasizes the absurdity. He points out the irony of a benevolent billionaire who promoted kindness while cultivating intense fear. When Megyn and Greg unite, they perform a complete examination of Ellen's downfall. The apology was a masterclass in insincerity, and it was insincere. She sounded like someone reading from a script under coercion. Her statement lacked any sense of genuineness. Megyn saw the statement as a PR move, and Greg saw it as a comedy sketch. People began to question her intentions. Finally, her show ended in 2022. Her ratings decreased, and she lost supporters. But Megyn became more successful as she began to embrace more controversial content. Gutfeld continues to criticize the entertainment industry. Ultimately, these events represent a move towards authenticity. Ellen represented artificiality, and artificiality fades with time. Viewers are demanding reality and honesty. Ellen was good at selling artificial kindness. Her departure was quiet. Megyn moved on, and Gutfeld continued to be critical of influencers. What can we learn from this? Artificiality isn't enough. Dancing doesn't remove accountability. And when Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld share their opinions, it is important to revisit internal practices. The audience's lack of applause is a sign of bad publicity.